Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Rachel Feldman, business coach and founder of Your Health Coach Business and Your Health Coach Biz. Rachel works with coaches and service providers to help them build profitable online businesses, focusing on creating offers, signing clients, and scaling beyond one-to-one work. Her work is also about helping people move from passion-driven work to structured, income-generating businesses. Rachel, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
I am so happy to be with you today and have this amazing discussion.
As am I. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about your journey. Rachel, with all of my guests, I do actually like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up Your Health Coach Biz, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. So I was in commercial real estate. I loved it. I loved buildings. I loved selling. I loved the interaction that you had. And I loved when deals actually fell apart because you really needed to be good at what you were doing to get that deal back on board, whether it was with different contractors, all those different things that happen when deals fall apart. There was a part in my journey when I was in commercial real estate where I started getting sick. And I had all these health issues. I always had gut issues and that colitis. But I remember turning to my mom and was like, I'm really sick. I found out I had heavy metal poisoning. I had candida. I had adrenal fatigue, parasites. I had all these things that were going on. And I started seeing all these different health and wellness professionals. And I was frustrated that you would go in, be seen, and be told that you had to do all this testing, take their supplements, and I started researching on my own. So after researching and going to a lot of different people that I didn't, I was like, one day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to help a woman just like me who's sick and suffering. And that's what led me to become a health coach. So 15 years ago, I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and became a health coach. So I know what it's like, the ins and outs of one-on-one, scaling, wearing many different hats. And then after I created my first program, because one of my existing clients said to me, oh my God, this detox is so easy to follow. She got it from this magazine. I was like, wait, I'm done with just giving handouts. I'm done with giving recipes on Word documents. I have to make something formatted that can also allow me to get out of one-on-one and scale. And I created my first program. That program took 35 hours between the marketing, the recipes, the content creation. But I started getting clients. I had the confidence, which I think is a big one for coaches. I didn't feel like an imposter anymore. And I started closing clients. And a coach that I went to school with said to me, Rach, how are you doing that? How are you closing clients and actually getting people to say yes to you? And I said to her, I created this program. And she asked me if she could buy it. And that was the birth of the Done For You programs, where we are in e-commerce and cater to health and wellness coaches. So that's the lineage of how I got to where I am today.
Beautiful stuff. And it all started with that buzz in real estate. And by the sounds of it as well, you very much enjoyed the buzz of the sale. As you say, your favorite part being when you
Yes.
win a client back. It's like when you thought the deal's falling through the cracks. But there are so many ways, as you say, in real estate as well, it's so volatile. There's so many things that can affect that deal. But yeah,
Yeah.
getting that little chase, and when you see it come through, there is no better buzz than something that you thought was gone when you see that back on the roster. That is a really cool aspect. And then from there, as you say, all that marries in really nicely. You've been in the position of people that need help with their wellness, and then obviously in a position where you can provide help to people going through that same subject. So you've got such a nice embodiment of experience coming into it, which really much adds to what you're doing. And did you always have that ambition to be an entrepreneur? Would you say that something else was inside you that obviously helped you out throughout your own journey as well?
I would say the first time I sold anything is I was a little girl going down the beach back when this was safe to do, and I would offer massages for $1.
No way. Love that.
So I always envisioned, I didn't envision myself working for somebody. I always was an independent contractor, even when I
Yeah.
worked for a developer in commercial real estate. I think the entrepreneurial life, it's not something that everyone wants to get into. And I think that there are a lot of people who get into it that don't expect that you have to wear many hats.
Yeah. It's so true. And it is, as you say, a lot of people think it's a very easy journey throughout life, and it's not. You would juggle so many jobs, so many hats, as you
Yeah.
say, that you have to do to keep that business moving forward and essentially your life as well, because a lot of it depends on that coming into it. But I think contracting work, and especially again in real estate, is such a great way into that environment because you are in control of your own time, you are in control of your own finances, and
Yeah.
as much effort as you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. Very similar aspect within entrepreneurship, just a little bit of a different title coming through. So let's dive into your health coach biz a little bit more, just so the listeners can have some context moving forward.
Yes.
So, Rachel, at this point in, who would you say is your ideal client? Who is it that you very much love to work with the most? And then from there, how is it you help them? And how would you support them along their own journey?
That's a loaded question. I hope I can get to all of it. I would say, just like we have in our own business different buyer avatars in different stages of their
Yeah.
experiences, I have a lot of new coaches that come to me right out of school. They don't have any idea about marketing, they don't have any idea how to craft a program. And or an opt-in freebie, which is also called a lead magnet, or their workshop, or their indoctrination series, all these things that we provide at your health coach biz. And then I have the person who's scaling, who doesn't have time to create content. So that's where we came in. I also do business coaching as well because a lot of people will come and say to me, how are you able to scale your business? I really want to be able to do this too. And how are you able to get out of one on ones to do group programs?
Yeah.
But we cater to people who I would say don't really know what are the next steps in their business. They know that they need to have a low cost offer because they hear the guru saying build an offer suite. And so they're coming to us in different stages.
Yeah. That's
Did I
nice. And you're
answer
very much
all of that or did I miss one of the questions?
no, you're good. It was a front-loaded question for me, but we can dive into it a little bit more. But I like the fact, as you say, so you're working with like people within that sector, but definitely from the health sector when it comes to coaching, you're very good at what you do, but you're not necessarily te taught the business side of things, and that is so
No.
important when you are setting up your own practice. So 100% coming into play, helping them with that offer, whether they are starting out straight from school, as you said, or even at that point where they're ready to scale from that one-to-one level. There's so much noise in the world. It's so many opportunities to take, and there's so many people telling you which opportunity is right or which path you should go down. So it's nice you're providing people with that clarity. I know what it's like to be in those shoes. I can help you out with whatever stage you're at, and we can take it
Yeah.
from there. Are you very much in the trenches with your clients? I know you mentioned to you it's more of a done for you service, but what is your approach or what is your style when you get into working with your clients?
When I get into working with my clients, I do believe that we're in a trust recession. I think that we are in a place where people are buyer beware and
Yeah.
people really have to show up these days with videos. So I say to that person, you have to show up with videos. We have to have an opt-in freebie. We have to have a
Mm,
low cost offer because especially if you're running ads, you can pay for the ads with that low cost offer, but it's also a great trust builder. It's getting somebody in who's not just a freebie seeker, and that was a big pivotal change in my business that I implemented. I also believe you need a high cost offer. So I'm not telling somebody they need these complicated funnels, but you definitely need to have at least two offers. And you can also have a single session that is an entry in to your high cost offer where you can apply that to if somebody wants to move forward with you. So I believe that it's important to have a really great work with me page. I believe it's important to have a website. So when somebody comes to me, if they're in the new stages, we're doing the building blocks, and those are the building blocks that I just put forward. If somebody's looking to scale, they're looking for multiple workshops, multiple webinars, replays, nurture sequences, different messaging for different people in different stages of their buyer avatars experiences.
beautiful. So as you say, covering every aspect of that, like starting with the marketing, which is such a key thing and such a forever changing movement as well. So as you say, like making sure you're driving people in, you have that low ticket offer, the hook,
Yep.
whatever it might be, and then from there we can move on and work with the rest of that process. But again, very much offering them support at every avenue they can. We're then working on scaling, so we're adding on more offers, streamline the ICP to match your content, which is again a lot of people struggle with that. They think an ACP is all they can stick to, but no, you can have several and just streamline what you want to do and move that from there. Really cool approach. One thing I'm very curious to find out though, Rachel, obviously with your experience, is how you go about acquiring your own customers. So like at the moment, what is working well for you? So like, what channels or methods are you utilizing at the moment and just trying to attract that right kind of person?
That's such a great question. I would say automation is everything. It's low
Mm,
cost offers and it's opt-in freebies. I don't think, and I do Facebook ads, but I would tell you organically, people will come to me and say, I found a video or I found your blog and I really want to work with you. But what works is that we have low cost offers, a nurture sequence. I would
nice.
say that was the biggest mistake I made in year one, that I did not have nurture sequences. And that's where you're really nurturing them through whether it's a case study, testimonial, your origin story, how you can help them. I would say we average anywhere from 3 to 5 emails off of every low cost offer or opt in freebie.
Beautiful stuff. Love it. Yeah. And as you say, that's such an important part of that cycle is that nurturing sequence because you do want to stay top of mind. You want to stay relevant. You want to be that person once they've clicked on
Yes.
that ad, once they've turned on that kind of low ticket, even if they're not ready to take that next step straight away, you want to be that person they turn to when they are ready to take those steps. So that's such an important thing. And even within the trust recession that we were speaking, that you mentioned before, the long form content is very much coming back into play because of
Yes,
that.
it is.
People are resonating with the voices, with the videos. You want to build as much trust online as you can. And so you said you're running Facebook ads. Do you run that through to like more of a webinar situation, or like what is the funnel you like to use, or is
I
it just
like
that
to
low ticket?
use I like to use a freebie to actually on the thank you page
Cool,
do the masterclass there because then you're not paying those high prices. So I like to run ads to low cost offers.
beautiful. And then from there, as you say, get them within your ecosystem, and we can move on to that next step of the
And
process.
make sure, this is the biggest mistake I hear from people, is they'll run those ads, they'll get people on their list, but they don't email. Email once a week. Email, if you feel that you need to email even more than that, you have to stay consistent. You have to stay at the top of your client's mind.
Yeah. And that is it. And an email is such a beautiful and an easy way for you to, as you say, automating it, running it through and just giving them advice, giving them information, tips about yourself. As you say, make them build that connection with you
Yeah.
personally. Emails is a beautiful way to do. And I take it are you pretty much a solopreneur as well, running the whole show yourself, Rachel, or do you have help in aspects
No, I do
behind the
have
scenes?
help.
Cool.
I do have help. I have writers, designers, content creators for the
Love
Done
it.
For You programs. I don't do it all myself.
Cool.
And I'm not a designer, so I do have somebody that helps me on my website and on download pages in our membership area where people download their information. But I do a lot myself. I think that we're in a time where everyone's, oh, push off everything to AI, but I feel like we're actually coming out of this time where people are like, no, AI has made it everyone so muted and sounding the same. I feel like you have to be in the trenches of your business. I like to personally email people. I like to send Loom videos. So I like to have that VIP experience. And I think that we're really getting back to a stage where that is so important, especially in that trust recession that we were talking about.
100%. And AI is definitely one of the driving forces of that because, as you said, it makes everyone else sound so generic, especially when they are leaning on it from their marketing and the sales point of view, which for
Yes.
me are the two most important aspects of that business because that's your first contact point with anybody. The first time they're going to see your content, the first time they're going to hear your voice are in those two avenues of stream. So if you're using AI to do that, you're just already neglecting the human aspect, the authenticity that comes from us naturally,
Yes.
those mistakes and
Yes.
those things that people look out for. So you said again, you're very much in the trenches of your own business, which I think is a great aspect as well. And then just handing off the jobs that you don't necessarily need to be doing day to day. And then from there, that business will help you. It will help run nice and efficiently. You won't have to be stuck in and burning yourself out in those roles. Do you still play a heavy part in the sales process, though, given obviously your background in real estate?
Yes, I do. I don't have a sales team. I actually handle the sales myself, and I feel like people are always blown away. They'll get on a call and say, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. But I feel like when you hand off to a sales team, you lose something in that translation. And if you can handle the sales yourself, you know your product, You from doing discovery calls should have a form that asks people very specific questions so you can prep for that call. Some common questions are like, what are your health struggles? How long have they been going on? Have you seen people before for this? Are you ready to commit to coaching? You can do an application form, but I love to be in the sales with, and I also think it's great market research.
It is. You're, as I said, you are frontline when you're in the sales, so you're hearing every
Hmm.
bit of feedback. From every yes to every no, there's always going to come with something you need to pass on. So yeah, you're very much in the trenches in that role. It's that client-facing role that comes before the coaching. So yeah, you're loving that role, and I do think it's nice that every founder has that aspect of it. You'll get to some point, or you become that bottleneck, and it'll be one of those roles you have to deliberate. Should I hand over?
Exactly.
Should I keep? But as you say, if you're through that, you should be getting those closes through as a founder, 100%. And I suppose, what are your ambitions or your visions for the company moving forward, Rachel? When you think of maybe the next 6 to 12 months, like what are those goals or those milestones you're hopefully looking forward to achieving?
I think it's increasing revenue by 25%. That's one goal. But I think it's also making some premium high touch programs that can serve for business coaching that can
Yeah.
really involve like everything from the tech to the program involved because we have 425 products. So we have a
Wow.
lot of products. So I think it's really making some high touch, high connect, high ticket packages because I've always gone more on the low ticket, doing some
Yeah.
masterminds and stuff like that. But I really think people need that high level of customer service and coaching to get to that next place.
100%. And it is that high touch that people are looking for, especially if you've got those lower ticket offers already. It's that one-to-one building up that high ticket offer so they can come in at a better rate. Even for yourself, we mentioned imposter syndrome at the start of the call. It does help massively with that when you are selling the bigger bundles because your confidence is so high. When you can
Yep.
sell an offer that's 2.5K plus, you feel so much better about yourself. You're speaking with a better kind of person. As you say, it was one of your challenges at the start, was anyone that was coming in for a freebie. When you have your value high and your confidence high, those right people will find you with that offer and it's just running it from there. Where are you probably finding like the biggest challenge for yourself in taking those next steps and achieving that goal that you're looking for?
Right now, I would say it's it's really speaking to that person like specifically with this offer. I
Yeah.
don't think it's an issue. I just think it's a shift and a pivot because I've been doing the Done For You programs for so long that I didn't do as much business coaching. And so now it's just a shift in messaging on
Yeah.
how people view me
Yeah. And as you
because
say,
I
that
am a great coach.
I can tell, I guarantee it. And as you say, it's that messaging that is attracting that person. So yeah, as you pivot, just make sure it realigns with your message and your values. And from there, hopefully
Yeah.
those right people will be coming in. It's a really cool aspect. And Rachel, I have one final question to ask you. So if we could go back in time to a younger self and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now, but that you didn't know back then, what would you say to yourself?
Start messy. Start messy. Start with imperfect action. I'm a recovering perfectionist and I see too many, not just in the health and wellness space, but too many business owners that struggle with just starting. And
Yeah.
it's like we were talking about long form content. I also have a podcast agency. It's just start the podcast. It's like right now is the time where long form is going. Just start the webinar. Just start. You might only have my first webinar, I had three people, but it was three people. I didn't
Yeah.
quit. I kept going. And it's then I got hundreds of people.
That's it.
That's my best advice.
I love that. And as you say, everyone's got to start somewhere. So you might as well start in that messy part and then clean up on your way through. I love that. And
Yes.
Rachel, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do?
They can go. I have two happy homes. Rachel A. Feldman, it's FELDMAN.com or yourhealthcoachbiz.com. You can also always send me a DM on Instagram at Rachel A. Feldman.
Beautiful stuff. And Rachel, thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. It
And
was wonderful to be with you, Olivia.
awesome, and you too. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to go and check out Rachel Feldman. As she just said, drop her a message on LinkedIn, Rachel A. Feldman. Drop her a message on Instagram. I'm sure she would love to hear from everybody. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future. via wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we'll see you on the next one.